Good morning. It's Friday morning. It's about, I don't really know, 9 maybe. I've been very achievey today. We went to the car boot. Hope it's not too windy. Got a wash on. I've emptied the dishwasher. I've had a shower. That's always a plus. I made some chicken stock yesterday. Darren did us a roast, so I made us a big pan of chicken stock. So I strained that and got that in the freezer, and gonna have risotto later. So kept some for that. Yeah, very achievey. So I need to pack some orders. I'll show you what we got at the car boot. Not loads, but it was all right. And then this afternoon, I want to plant out some plants. Some of these need planting out, and even things that aren't that big, like these echinacea, they're not doing very well in these little pots, so I want to plant them out, give them a chance out in the wilds. My little roses have got rose buds on. That's very exciting. And in the gravel in between the beds in the kitchen garden, we've got loads of this growing like a weed, and it's that big daisy. It's really, really lovely. So I've been pulling it up and potting it on so that we can plant it out around the place, because we like it. Probably be along that back fence. I'm hiding in here because it's so windy and it interferes with my microphone. Okay, let's go inside and show you what I got from the car boot. Here it is. Darren got that big Beatles poster at the back there. I won't be posting that. That will be going to one of the booths. I got this little shelf thing as well, which I thought was kind of cool. Some big glass bottles. Le Parfait, it says on them. I don't know whether that's an old thing or a new thing. Some terrines and some old cassettes. Look. ABBA. The singles. I don't know if tapes sell, but hey, give it a go. Give anything a go. Some teapots. And I got some tall candlesticks. Again, I'm not going to post these. Little sandwich plate. And randomly bought a shopping trolley. And we got this picture as well of a poppy in this unusually shaped frame. So, not loads, but worth getting up for. It's only just down the road, so it's no big deal. I don't have a lot to pack today. I've got these lovely candlesticks. They sold pretty quick, so I'm pleased with that. A roll mat. One of the magic lantern slides, a little car. Sweet peas are not for sale, they're from the garden. Military hat. Oh, these cups and saucers, you know, the sort of opaque French ones. I'm not going to unwrap that all now, but yeah, set of cups and saucers. That's it. That's my current book for void fill. Materials and processes for the 1970s. Next week should be an interesting week. So I went to Borough Antique Centre yesterday. I didn't take any video. I don't know why. Why didn't I? Don't know. Went to pop a few bits in there, and the lady who runs it asked me if I'd like to do a window display. So next Tuesday I'm going with a whole load of stock to put on a window display. So I'm looking out for bits that I'm going to use for my window display. So I can always raid eBay stock. I've got a few bits actually that I can put in already, so that's good. And things like these candlesticks that I picked up today, they'll be ideal. So the window's sort of flat, and then there's a little shelf on one side and a little shelf on the other, but I need sort of things to add height in the middle, so that's good news. So I'm going to get on with packing this, and then I'll work out what's next. It is 11:10 and I've finally finished all my parcels. It always takes longer than I think. A couple more orders came through as I was doing them, another military hat and a little tin. Trying to drink more water, which I was just going to talk to you about that. I'm going to put my glasses on because I'm kind of looking at myself in there, which sounds vain, but it makes me feel a bit fuzzy if I try and look at the screen and I can't see. So I've got all those parcels packed and now I'm feeling a little bit ropey. During the night, I had a really horrendous headache and I took one of my migraine tablets. Woke up this morning, I felt absolutely fine. I thought, whew, got away with that one. But I'm feeling a little bit ropey now. So I thought I'd talk to you about what I'm going to do June. It's the 30th today of May. And my plan, I'm not very good at sticking to plans, but I'm hoping that I can give a month's worth. So June has got 30 days and I've made myself a little chart here. And what I want to do, I picked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 things. That's quite a lot. But I'm not planning on doing all these things every day. To try and encourage myself to have better habits. I don't know, do you want to join in this? Do you want to make yourself a chart? What I'd ideally like is a wall chart and loads of stickers, but I don't have a big piece of card and I don't have any stickers. And if I put it up on the wall, then I will get ridiculed by my family. So let's not do that. Let's have it in a little book where I can fold it away and put it away. And I do like this book, so I want to use it. I think it's just from The Works, yeah. Isn't that pretty? And then I thought I'm going to try and do a little bit of journaling in the front of the book. So I thought about things that I really want to improve. I'll tell you what inspired me to do this. So Darren was trying to keep an eye on how much he's drinking. So he makes a note on his phone on the days that he calls them dry days. So then sees at the end of the month how many dry days he's had. So he hasn't had any alcohol at all in that day. And so then he just counts up and sees how many days at the end of the month he's got. So he's just aware of like how much he's drinking. And I thought actually that's probably a good idea. But of course I've taken it to another level and probably made it totally unobtainable. I'll do it for 4 days and then go, oh, I can't be bothered with all that. But I've made a chart. And maybe if I talk about it on here, it'll make me more mindful about keeping up with stuff. Right, I've got 11 columns. The first column is reading. I really want to get back in the habit of reading and spend less time scrolling on my phone. So I'd like to aim for half an hour's reading. So I'm going to try and get as many ticks down that 30 line as I can get for half an hour's reading. And I don't read intellectual stuff. I read very page-turny, Lee Child, that kind of stuff. I've talked about it before, but I was very late coming to reading. I didn't read through a whole book until I was probably about 15. We travelled a lot, so we didn't have lots of books with us. But I just didn't have the concentration span to read. And then didn't really read at all until I was probably in my 30s. And then I started reading. But I only really ever read on holiday, not day to day, because I'd just fall asleep as soon as I start reading. But now I really want to make it. So I'm aiming for half an hour in chunks, and I'm going to try and get as many ticks in that column as I can get. Right, my next column is creativity. I'd really like to spend half an hour drawing, or maybe I don't know what else. I like drawing. That's my creative thing. Doodling, doing little paintings. So if I can do half an hour of that, that would be really good. And I think it's quite mindful. Well, I find it quite mindful to sit and draw and practice. I think the problem I have is I always feel like I have to be good at it, and it doesn't need to be about creating something good. It can just be about enjoying it. So I need to, if I can do half an hour and get as many ticks in my 30, I mean, half an hour out of a 24-hour day isn't that much, is it? So we've got reading and we've got creativity. The next one is fresh air, which, if I'm doing gardening, I'm getting my fresh air, aren't I? So those things cross over. So I'd really like to get a tick every day in there for fresh air. So if I go to a car boot and I'm out at a car boot in the morning, I get a tick because that's fresh air. My next column is exercise. So I'd like to do something exercising. I'm not expecting there to be a tick in every day of the week, but I would say if I go to a car boot, like a Stickney one on a Saturday, we get there at, I think, 5:30, and we maybe leave at 8:30, and that's 2 hours of walking. That is exercise. So that will get a tick. But I'd also like to do a bit more of that Pilates. And I just have got no, I don't know. I don't stick at stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I need to be mindful and remind myself. This is hopefully what I'm hoping this will do. Remind myself to make the time to do some exercise. So go for a walk, or do a Pilates, or whatever. Yeah? So that's going to get a tick. Now this is one that I really want to try and get as many ticks as I can in this next column. And this is a TikTok free day. So a whole day of zero TikTok. Because although I like TikTok recipes, I spend too much time wasted scrolling on TikTok, watching the most ridiculous dramas and people arguing about stuff, and me being reminded about politics that I'm trying to switch off from all of that. So like Darren has his alcohol-free days, I would like my TikTok-free days. So that is the first 5: reading, creativity, fresh air, exercise, and TikTok-free. And then the next one is face routine. And you'll think, what the hell is face routine? And it's just cleansing and then serum and moisturising. And I want to try and do it every day, but I just forget. And some days I'm like, that'll do. Do you know what I mean? But I want to make it a better habit because my skin's been horrible recently, and I've just in the last few days making the effort to do a bit more, and it looks so much better to me. So that is one that I want to get ticks in all the way down. The next one is water. I want to mindfully drink more water. My difficulty is that, say we're going to a car boot in the morning, I don't want to drink before we go because I don't want to have to go for a wee when I'm there. And then I might forget. And then before you know it, it's night time, and you don't want to be drinking loads of water before you go to bed as a middle-aged woman. So I don't drink enough. So I'm going to try and fill this up and drink 2 of these a day. So I don't know how the tick system's going to work on this, but I want it there to remind me. So I'm going to have another slurp now. Another thing, but it's not in this list, is when I was doing my low carb and I was looking into things to help with headaches and stuff, I read that you should take electrolytes, and I got into the habit of drinking them in the morning and in the evening, and I obviously habits, I got out of it. So I want to try and get back into doing that morning and evening. And another thing I said to Darren was, I'm going to try and not have a coffee first thing in the morning. I'm going to try and have a chamomile tea first thing. Then have a coffee a bit later, and also in the evening make sure that I'm not eating after a certain time of the night, so that my body's got a little bit more time to, not fasting exactly, but I've just time without a calorific intake, if you see what I mean, just to give my body a chance to recover from food. Oh, here we go. The next column is a food related one. Sugar free. Now what I mean by sugar free, I'm going to aim for a day free of biscuits, chocolate, ice cream, that kind of sweets. Sugar is what I mean. I'm not going to count fruit. I'm not going to count the sugar that's in milk, or the dried fruit that's in my fruit and fibre in the morning and stuff like that. I'm just meaning that real sugar. So if I can have a sugar-free day, I get a tick or a star or whatever it is that I'm going to put in these little columns. You see, there's not big enough for a sticker. I'd love stickers, but the little columns aren't big enough, so I can't. The next column is declutter. I'd like to declutter a section of space each day. Well, I'll aim for as many as I can do in a month. I know it sounds really dull, but my sock drawer is rammed full. Half of them I got holes in. I'm never going to repair them. Get rid. So things like that. Yeah, just declutter a section. So if I do any, I will get a tick. Now there's the last two columns are things that I don't really know a lot about, but I think that I want to investigate and try for the lipedema thing that I've been talking about that I think I've got. So one is lymphatic drainage. Now I've seen people talking about doing like this lymphatic drainage thing to help with your lymphatic system's drainage. So I want to try and do that as many times as I can this next month. And finally, dry brushing. I bought myself like a dry brush thing, and again it's supposed to help with lymphatic drainage and stuff. So that is the last column. So that seems a lot. That's like a lot of habits, but they're not ones that I'm expecting to do every single day. They're just ones that I'm going to try as many as I can. Do you think I'm being over expecting too much? Sorry, I forgot the word then, my brain went blank. Or do you think it is doable? What do you reckon? And what would you have? What columns would you have? If you want to join in, let me know. We could have like a little catch up and see how it's going. I'm hoping I can stick at it, and if I could like get into the habit of doing my ticks every night when I go to bed, and maybe doing a little bit of journaling as well, just to say how I'm getting on and how I'm feeling, and see if there's any positives coming through, then I know what I'm like. I'm rubbish at sticking at stuff, but I really want to just, if I could give it 30 days. 30 days isn't a lot, is it? And it's just, I think I could work out which bits are really improving my life. Then maybe another month I could try different things and see what other things work. What do you think? What's your thoughts? I'd appreciate some feedback. Darren's made us lunch. So we got some sourdough and rye bread, a little bit of pork pie. What's the meat?
I think it's turkey.
Turkey, you forgot, haven't you? And then a big bowl of salad and some cheese and dips and stuff. I was going to show you around the garden a bit, but it's too windy for me to talk, so I'll put some music over the bits that I showed you. I've just noticed some sunflowers coming out in our fruit cage. You can see my brain's on a delay today. Yeah. This afternoon, it's still my plan to get out and do some gardening. I took some Anodin Extra and I've had something to eat, so I'm feeling a little bit more with it now. There's not quite as much of a delay between my thinking and what's coming out as there was. It's still there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what roses these are, because I took loads of cuttings from, I'm going to say 3 different rose bushes, and so I don't know which is which. So once the flowers come out, obviously I'll know which is which. There's the gorgeous pink smelling one in the corner. There's another one that climbs over the trellis near the kitchen garden. And then there's the red one at the front, the deep red one, which you'll see in my little video that I'm doing. I don't think the deep red one is here because it's got a different kind of stem and stuff, so I don't think it's one of them. So I think I've got the climbing, rambling ones going there. And my washing is dry and lovely, you'll be pleased to know. Yeah, right, I'm gonna go. We're gonna go to the garden centre, and then I'm gonna do some planting this afternoon. So if I get anything exciting at the garden centre, I'll update you next week. But in the meantime, I want to say thank you to Sue, who used my Avon link. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to the members of my channel that really do help to support me. Not just me, but Darren and Bob and Court as well. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you could leave a comment and a thumbs up, really does help with the algorithms. And remember, if you want to see more of the garden, then head over to our other channel, Darren and Kirsten's Garden Adventures. Right, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next week.